Hey there, I'm Juanita Ingram, the host of Legal Notion Talk Show. Join us as we bring you pop culture and current events with a legal twist. Check us out every week on Facebook Watch, Mommy Talk Channel. Hello and welcome to Legal Notion, the London edition. Hello and welcome to Legal Notion, the special London edition. I have my favorite person in all of the UK here with me today, K D Pascall. I know him as Demas, and we're going to talk about everything creative related, film related. Welcome to Legal Notion.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got started in film.
Okay, my name is K D Pascall, known to my friends as Demas. Yes, I've pretty much been shooting film since 2004. I was given the opportunity sitting on a council estate in South London where I'm from.
South London? Come on, yes.
I mean, from that point, I used the opportunity to film a lot of my friends who were at the time doing music. Music was pretty much a small industry at the time, especially a lot of what you may call now, like, you know, urban music or drill music.
Okay.
With my video camera, I went to different events, filmed known and unknown performers. Eventually, putting all that footage onto DVD, because at the time we didn't have the internet as we have it now.
Right. There was no YouTube back then.
There was no YouTube back then.
Right.
You know, so we had to really get out there and we had to hustle.
Yeah.
That's the type of background we're coming from. You know, from that point on, we went on to develop DVDs. You know, which sold in, you know, we had stores at the time like Woolworths, Tesco's, Love Film, a lot of record shops, like the mom and pop's record shops and stuff.
I remember
like
those.
You know, so
that was before Tidal and Spotify and all that. When you had to pop in a CD if you wanted to hear somebody. Yeah.
So we literally had to just, you know, hustle our products, sale or return. It was, at the time, you know, grime music was what it was about at the time. So we had like a sort of variation between rap music and grime music. You know, we made a lot of sales, and you know, we became quite known during that time. You know?
Wow. So that's where you got started. So your first film, do you remember what that was? It's been a long time.
Wow. Okay, I do remember. I don't even know if we actually gave it a name. It was just like we was just in the area, and you know, I got a collective of my friends, got a little storyline, and we put it together, and I just got the bug, and from then on it's just been constantly writing, watching a lot of movies, and a lot of film studying.
Yeah. So you direct, you write, you create a lot of content. You mentioned about film studying, because I know that, and he's very humble, so we're going to get into the accolades in a minute, because I'm not going to let you get away with that. He's being very humble, but that's okay. But you talked about film study and the background of doing that, because a lot of people want to make film, they don't know how. How important is it that you actually study the art of making films?
I mean, first of all, I believe, you know, you gotta aim to be like master of your craft. You gotta respect the craft first and foremost.
Thank you. Yes.
You know, it's something that was set before our time, and I believe it's something that should be adhered to, respected, and improved upon. And I'm not as ignorant as not to want to improve myself,
right? You
know, and help people that are trying to get into the craft. So I believe you've got to invest a lot of time into the craft, and in that way you actually develop yourself, and you know, make your own mark, you know, create your own signature. So it's really important.
What type of advice would you give young filmmakers now, up and coming, especially urban filmmakers, in terms of the type of investment that they need to do in themselves?
Right. I mean, first of all, I think you got to believe in yourself. That's the first thing. I think a lot of us, where we come from, we come from environments where we feel inadequate because there's so much happening around us, and we don't feel like we're that much involved. But I think for me personally, it was about believing in myself, believing that I can do this, believing that I could be one of the greats. So therefore, I had to study the greats. And in studying the greats, you gotta invest that time. Invest that time. You know, you gotta cut yourself off from you know, things that don't really matter to you, that are not going to progress you. You know, and I think it's vital. And that, you know, you got to look yourself in the eye and believe that you can be. You profess to be. You know.
But part of that, like you said, is about taking the time to study and respecting the craft. I think from a director's lens and from a casting director's lens, because he casted me, he auditioned me. Do you remember that day when I auditioned?
I can't forget that day.
I walked in, he was like, okay, alrighty then. But from a lot of actors will watch this, and they always want to know from a director's perspective what they can do in terms of auditioning, in terms of being an actor. What do you look for? What do you expect? What advice would you give to actors?
What I look for in an actor is if that actor can get in touch with their inner self. If they're acting, you know, another role, it's not about acting as that character. It's about behaving like that character. What would that character do in a given situation? You know, if it's dealing with a scenario of death, I don't want you to act like you're
sad,
you know, sad and upset. I want you to channel in, like put yourself in that situation. How was it for you when you lost somebody?
Right.
Those are the emotions that I look for.
Right.
You know, it goes past acting. It goes deep into how well can you channel that person, that spirit of that person. How believable are you? My thing's all about authenticity.
Yes.
And if I don't feel like you're coming across authentic, then I'm either going to ask you to do it again, over and over again. Or, worst case scenario, you know, if this can't work, it can't work. You're going to have to go and practice on your craft more. So it's really important that you spend time really and truly investing in yourself and your craft if you're serious.
Sometimes I think people, because we make it look so easy, that they think it's a lot easier than what it is, especially from the writing, directing capacity, and even from the acting lens, certainly from the acting perspective, but even from a writing director capacity, it's not easy, you know, and sometimes people make it look easier than what it is. But in terms of like what you said, studying the greats, how long did you do that? Who all did you study? I don't want you to give away too much because, you know, that's the sauce. I don't want you to give them all the sauce. But, you know, how long did you do that? Because I think it's a real issue that sometimes we live in such an instant world that people want things instantaneously, and they see your success, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But they have no idea that this started 15, 14 years ago. And you should be where you are right now. You put that much time into anything, you should be, you know, reaching certain plateaus, but people will automatically think that it happened overnight.
It never happens overnight. It's always the work you put in. I used to spend hours, because I mean, before I used to do a lot of music videos, a lot of interviews, documentaries and stuff like that. So I've always been obsessed with, I've been a fan of the arts for a long time. So yeah, it took me like 12 years, the best part of 12 years. That's without my friends having any knowledge. At the time that I was going to the library like 9 o'clock in the morning, spending hours in the library just reading up, taking notes, going home. I used to study a movie by Denzel Washington called Training Day.
Yes.
I mean, for me personally, that film really helped me in terms of structure, because I used to struggle with how or understanding structure. So I feel the way that film was laid out made it easier for me to look up on certain reference points and base my first script upon that. But I mean, overall, I'm a person that I love variety. So I would study a whole different spectrum of films, like films you wouldn't expect me to watch. Because I feel like every film's got a gem in it, something for you to learn from, and I don't think you should be as ignorant within this particular industry to just stick to one genre. You know, because there's so many great directors out there. Personally, I don't necessarily have a favorite one at this current time, because you know, I just love the arts, and I'm inspired by everybody and everything, and I feel like I can use, you know, a bit of everything to create my masterpiece, you know. Fantastic.
Speaking of masterpieces, and we're working together on another one now, but you were up for a Best Picture with the British Urban Film Festival. I told you he's being humble. He's not telling everybody everything, and that's okay. What was that like?
It was an honor. I felt honored. I felt, in truth, I felt as if, okay, well, they're going to nominate me for this. I feel like I've even started it. So if you're going to nominate me for this, then, you know, I've got some heat coming. You know, that's how I felt, truly.
It was a surreal time.
It was surreal, man.
Very surreal.
I mean, do you know what, overall, I wasn't as happy for myself as I was for the whole
Yes.
team. I felt it's something that we worked on together, and it was a lot, man. It was a
lot.
Yeah. We won't go into the depth of it, but it was a lot, man. It was. On camera, off camera, behind the scenes, we put so much into it. So it felt like an honor to be able to get nominated for something like that. You know?
And something that I was telling one of the other co-stars in the film, people work their entire lives, very active writers, directors, actors, never get nominated for anything.
That's right.
That's
right.
And so whether you win or lose, just to be nominated, I know it sounds like a cliche, but it really is an honor because people do, and really good, good directors, good actors, and they do great work, great bodies of work their entire lives. Never get a single nomination for anything, not even the neighborhood award, nothing.
That's right.
So I felt honored to be there as well.
But for me, what was great for me was that we got nominated, but we were up against films that had been fully funded, established films, and I was sitting there thinking, wow, how did he get to this?
Yeah.
But like they say, who God bless, no man curse. So
there you go.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. It's more Legal Notion. Welcome back to Legal Notion, the special London edition. We're back with my friend Demas. We're going to talk about everything that's film related. And right now I want to talk about content of film and the importance of us telling our stories from our lens, which you do so masterfully. But what are you're welcome. But what are your thoughts on how important it is that we tell our stories?
I think deep down everybody's got a story to tell. Over the years we've seen I suppose we've seen an array of stories. The times that we live in now are so much different. With the rise of the internet, we're finding out stories we would have never believed have happened in the past, and they're now coming to surface. And I don't think one story is as important as the other.
Right.
And with that, I think it makes great film. I think it makes great film, inspiring people and generations out there, to tell their story.
Yeah.
Because I believe life is a story anyway.
Right.
It's just how it's told. With recent events occurring throughout the world, globally.
Yes.
I don't think there should be a stone that's not turned over.
Absolutely.
So at this point, I believe story, film, however you want to perceive it, is the way forwards.
Yes.
It's what's going to carry us forward. So we're going to see many people. Now I'm probably like one of many to come. There's a whole heap of people behind me. Believe me.
Yes.
Believe me.
Oh,
especially in London, we're coming for the world. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. And I think it's so important because, so often we won't get the opportunity to tell our story in a way that we know. If we don't do it. So if we don't do it, then who?
Exactly.
And I think you get a different lens when it's your own voice. And to your point about so many things happening in the world today, don't you think that maybe the solution can be introduced through film in a way that maybe we can't even have through normal dialogue?
That's right. That's correct. Absolutely. I mean, when you shine the light, when you shine a camera or something, it exposes. When you was young, you pick up a little rock in the garden, all these beetles are come running from under the rock.
Right.
That's what it's like, especially when you're telling maybe like a true story, a biography or something like that. You shine the light on it, you know? And for me, I believe that's important because that deals with many political issues and aspects, social aspects, and I think we're living in a time where these things need to be addressed. It's not, it's not just always about entertainment.
Right.
It's about a vast amount of things that need to be attended to, and we depend so much on politicians to, represent for the people, and as we're seeing, it's not always. Well, they don't always work in our best interest, so we've got to kind of be authorized to and take the lead and just kind of be the ones to basically tell our own stories and deal with our own issues and stop relying on them as much as rely on each other.
Yes.
You know, and using video cameras, using film, documentaries. I think this is definitely a great start for all of us. You know?
Yeah.
Take matters into our own hands.
Absolutely, and maybe being able to introduce solutions
That's right.
in a way that otherwise would never have a voice or an opportunity to be had.
That's right. I think it's too important, and I believe more so for the younger generation because you know, in my days, this was still pretty much new to us.
Yeah.
Whenever we saw TV or cameras in our neighborhood, it was like a big thing. You know, even if they were shooting like a commercial or something like that,
Right.
it was always like a big, you know, excitement and hey, they're shooting in our community.
Right.
Whereas now you see people with phones, you know, GoPros and stuff like that. It's
It's everywhere.
now.
Yeah. And I just watched a movie on the way over, on the flight over, Unsane, that was shot all on the iPhone. Like the entire movie was shot on the iPhone. And whether that was successful or not, you know, people have their own opinions, but it's happening.
Right. That's
it's
right.
happening. And the opportunities are there. So,
Most definitely.
yeah.
Most definitely.
Well, we've had an excited time with you, a great time with you. I want to ask you your top favorite 3 films. I know it's going to be hard. I know you hate it. I hate getting asked that too, because it's hard as a creative. Because you're like, I have a top 300, but
Yeah,
you know?
exactly, absolutely.
But you already mentioned Training Day having influenced you in terms of like structure.
That's
maybe
right.
some other ones that have influenced you and impacted you. Some that maybe we wouldn't think would have influenced you in a certain way.
Definitely the usual suspects.
Yes, yours
love that
too.
film, man.
Oh my God, it's so awesome. And no people, you know what? I can't get people to get into that. Isn't that awesome? It was done.
It's definitely in my top 3. Definitely in my top 3. That along, obviously, Boys in the Hood.
Yes.
I grew up in like Minister Society.
Yes.
But I mean, outside of the genre, wow, man, there's so many. I can't actually think of anything that comes to mind.
I think cinematically, I like the 300 because it was different at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was
Absolutely.
different.
Creative as well. From a creative standpoint, I feel like for me, I think that was shot on against a blue screen.
Yes. So the technology aspect of it,
man.
I felt like was just for its time. At that time,
right,
it was different.
Even you know, Matrix.
Yes.
You know, for its time, you know, that
For its
brought a
time.
whole new, you know, perspective on film. For me, you know, using slow mo and. You know,
and the movie going experience just as a whole,
man.
You know, just
man.
things that just has been so impactful. So.
I mean, and that's what we have to be careful of today. You know, taking we've still got to keep that element of that cinematic experience as opposed to just sitting down watching the Netflix at home where it's comfortable.
Exactly.
You know, when I was younger, it was like a big thing to go to the cinema.
It was
like a day trip, you know.
Yes.
And I think we got to be careful with about keeping that.
Yeah.
We really got to try and give people that.
Experience.
You know, and, experience and anticipation of going to the cinema and watching your film.
Yeah.
You know, because you know that's what it's got to be, and that's who's gone before us. You know, good for them. But I'm a strong believer in this new generation.
Yeah.
That's who I really want to back.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of watching your film, talk to us about Badness before we leave.
Okay, so Badness is based on a character called Bolo.
Yes.
He was born and raised in Jamaica, West Indies. He comes to the UK to start a new life. He gets married to a very beautiful lady called Ayana.
That I play.
Played by the beautiful Juanita Ingram.
Thanks.
So he sets up a family. But the plot is that his best friend is killed. So he's been put into a sort of dilemma where he has to choose the path of either avenging his friend's death or continuing to build his family.
Yeah.
In which he does choose, but because of that decision that's been made, the stakes are risen because then situations occur in which he has to respond to.
Yeah.
I mean, he tries his best not to respond, but I mean, once things go on the way, he has to really put his all into it, and out comes the crazy consequence of his decision. So I won't spoil too much.
No.
But basically, it's exciting. Do not miss it.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I'm excited to be a part of it. I love the theme of choices.
That's right.
And I think for a change, even when you're showing that genre and that sort of lifestyle, so to speak, but to show the real consequences of it, and to show all aspects of it and not just the glorified part of it, but all aspects of those consequences and those choices. So I'm excited for you. Thank you.
I'm excited for us, you know?
Yes, yes, very much so. Thank you so much for being on Legal Notion. Yes, we're so excited to be here in London with you. We're going to hang out later. That part you won't see, but we're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Really have been a pleasure. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Legal Notion, the special London edition. Thank you for joining us.